Severe weather is developing across the southern United States right now. Tornadoes are possible from Louisiana to Alabama. Heavy snow is falling in the high plains, and an Arctic blast is coming next week that could bring rare snow to the deep south. This video is 15 minutes long. First, we'll cover the immediate tornado threat, then the snow situation in the Midwest, then the flooding concerns, and finally, what's coming next week with this Arctic outbreak. Let's start with what's happening right now. The Storm Prediction Center has a slight risk of severe weather from central Alabama back to southeast Texas. This includes New Orleans, Jackson, Mississippi, and the area north of Houston. The marginal risk extends from Kentucky all the way back into Houston. The tornado threat window runs from 1 this afternoon until midnight tonight. But here's what you need to understand about timing. The morning hours carry a lower risk. We have a lot of rain falling right now from Ohio back into southern Louisiana. That's keeping things stable for the moment. But after lunch, around 1 or 2 in the afternoon, that changes. Instability will build along the Gulf Coast and back into Texas. The low-level jet increases through the afternoon. Storm cells will start to rotate. The peak tornado threat is 3 to 7 this evening. If you're going to be watching the radar closely, that's your window. 2 specific areas concern me most. First, the coastal zone from New Orleans through southern Alabama and southern Mississippi. Supercells will develop near the coast this afternoon and move inland. These storms can produce damaging winds, large hail, and tornadoes. Second, the area north of Houston extending into far east Texas. Storms begin elevated but become surface-based later in the day. That's when rotation becomes possible. Now, about that wind shear, we already have a decent amount in place across the deep south. The tornado environment isn't ideal through noon, mainly because there's too much convection. But after lunch, that convection lifts northward. The environment becomes more favorable from central and northern Alabama back to the central Gulf Coast and into East Texas. There's enough spin in the atmosphere, enough wind shear to create tornadoes this afternoon. The window is long, 1 this afternoon until about midnight. That's 11 hours. The bulk of activity should be mid to late afternoon and early evening. But near New Orleans, there could be a localized area in far east Texas and western Louisiana where a discrete supercell could form in a very favorable environment late this afternoon. By evening, that favorable environment mainly stays within 50 to 100 miles of the Gulf Coast. Central Alabama, central Mississippi, your tornado risk drops after 10 tonight. A line of thunderstorms will form. A couple tornadoes remain possible overnight into early tomorrow morning across southern Alabama and Georgia. Let me be straight with you. This is not a high-end severe weather setup. The Storm Prediction Center has this as a slight risk, not a moderate or high risk. There's too much convection. The surface low isn't positioned perfectly. Synoptically speaking, this isn't the most favorable pattern, but we have wind shear. The low-level jet increases tonight. That's enough to produce tornadoes. Could we see a strong tornado? Yes. But it would require several factors aligning just right. I would not rule it out, but it's not the most likely outcome. What's more likely is a few brief tornadoes, mainly EF0 to EF1 strength, with damaging winds and large hail being the primary concerns. On a scale of 1 to 5, where 5 is a major outbreak, this is a 3. Possibly a 3.5. It deserves your attention. But it's not the apocalypse. Winter brings severe weather to the Gulf Coast. This is part of the seasonal pattern. You've seen this before. If you're in the threat area, make sure you have multiple ways to receive warnings. Don't rely solely on your phone. Weather radio, local television, apps, sirens, have backups. Know where your safe place is. Interior room, lowest floor, no windows. If you have a basement, even better. Have shoes nearby. Have a flashlight. Have your phone charged. If a tornado warning is issued for your area, take action immediately. Don't wait to see if you can spot it. Don't go outside to look. Get to your safe place. Cover yourself with something to protect from debris. A mattress, heavy blankets, anything that provides a barrier. For those with elderly family or neighbors, check on them today. Make sure they can hear warnings. Make sure they have a plan. Many older adults grew up in an era when tornado warnings were less precise. The technology has improved dramatically. These warnings are accurate. When one is issued, take it seriously. Tomorrow, Saturday, the severe weather threat continues but shifts eastward. Marginal risk from southern Virginia back to New Orleans and into the Florida Panhandle. Main concerns are damaging winds and hail, which should remain fairly isolated. The tornado risk is lower but not zero. Areas near Atlanta, far western North Carolina, and eastern Alabama near Huntsville could see a brief tornado. Stay weather aware, but Saturday is less concerning than today. Now let's talk about rainfall and flooding. This system is bringing tremendous amounts of rain to the deep south. We're looking at widespread 2 to 5 inches from northern Georgia back to New Orleans and into far southern Louisiana. Some isolated spots could see 6 to 8 inches. Central Mississippi and southern Alabama are in the bullseye. Widespread 3 to 5 inches, with localized amounts up to 7 inches. Many of these areas haven't had much rain recently. There's a significant drought, so this rain is beneficial from that perspective. But it's a lot of water in a short time. Flash flooding is possible, especially in low-lying areas and near streams and rivers. Urban flooding is also a concern in cities like New Orleans, Jackson, and Mobile. Storm drains can only handle so much water. When you get 3 inches in 2 hours, that overwhelms the system. If you encounter a flooded road, turn around. Period. Don't try to judge the depth. Don't think your vehicle can make it. 6 inches of moving water can sweep you off your feet. A foot of water can move most cars. 2 feet will carry away nearly any vehicle, including trucks and SUVs. Every year, people die in floods because they try to drive through water. Don't be part of that statistic. Find another route. Wait it out. Call whoever you're meeting and tell them you'll be late. Your life is worth more than being on time. Now, the snow situation. We have 2 areas of snow right now. One in the Midwest, another over the high plains. The Oklahoma and Texas panhandles are getting hit hard right now. Southwestern Kansas, southeastern Colorado, same story. Heavy snow is falling. The Texas and Oklahoma panhandles could see over 6 inches when this is done. Southeastern Colorado, especially in the mountains, could approach 12 inches. Those ski areas need this desperately. It's been a below-average season so far. This snow drifts north and northeast through today and tonight. Kansas City sees snow tonight. By Saturday morning, Chicago, Milwaukee, northern Indiana, including Fort Wayne and Kalamazoo, all see moderate to heavy snow. This continues through Saturday evening across Michigan before pushing into Canada and the Northeast on Sunday. Here's what you need to know about accumulations. Most of the Midwest won't see huge totals. Eastern Kansas, northern Missouri, around Chicago, we're talking about an inch or 2 at most. Northern Illinois, northern Indiana, similar amounts. But even though totals are low, it will be heavy at times. Visibility will drop significantly during snow squalls. The highest accumulations are in 2 areas. Northern Wisconsin and the Upper Peninsula of Michigan could see 5 to 10 inches widespread. And southeastern Colorado, as I mentioned, could approach a foot in some spots. If you're driving in the snow this weekend, slow down. Give yourself extra following distance. Triple what you'd normally use. Snow squalls can reduce visibility to near zero in seconds. You need time to react. Keep emergency supplies in your vehicle. Blanket, water, snacks, flashlight, first aid kit, phone charger, basic items that could save your life if you get stuck. And if you do get stuck, stay with your vehicle. Don't try to walk for help in a snowstorm. People die from exposure that way. Stay with the car, run the engine periodically for heat, but crack a window to avoid carbon monoxide buildup. For those of you in northern climates, you know this already. But it bears repeating because every winter, people forget. Don't shovel snow all at once. Take breaks. Heavy, wet snow is particularly dangerous. Shoveling snow is one of the leading causes of heart attacks in winter. If you're over 65, if you have any heart condition, hire someone. It's not worth dying over. And here's something practical. If you need to shovel multiple times, wait until the snow stops before your final pass. Doing it 3 times during the storm just means you're moving the same snow multiple times. Unless you absolutely need to clear it for safety reasons, wait. After this storm clears by Sunday night, we get a brief break. Monday should be relatively quiet across most of the country, but don't get comfortable. By the middle of next week, around the 14th and 15th, the jet stream dips again. An Arctic blast becomes likely. This is where things get interesting. By the end of next week and into next weekend, Arctic air could push all the way to the Gulf Coast. We're talking temperatures 20 to 25 degrees below normal. Maybe more in some areas. This opens the door for snow as far south as Tennessee and Texas. Now, I'm going to be very clear about this. We're looking 9 days out. The details will change. The exact track of systems will shift, but the overall pattern is showing up consistently on multiple models. Cold air, significantly below normal temperatures, and the potential for winter weather in areas that don't normally see it. Ice storms are possible across the southern United States. Arkansas, Louisiana, northern Texas, Tennessee. You remember what happened in Texas a few years ago? The ice storm that shut down the state for days. People without power in freezing temperatures. This is the time of year when those events happen. I'm not saying we'll definitely see another event like that, but the pattern supports it. And you need to start thinking about preparedness now, not when the forecast is 3 days away. Make sure you have ways to heat your home if the power goes out. Fireplace, space heater with proper ventilation, extra blankets, stock up on non-perishable food, fill your gas tank, have cash on hand in case ATMs are down. These are basic preparedness steps that everyone should take when a significant winter storm is possible. For those in the South who aren't used to winter weather, ice is far more dangerous than snow. Snow you can drive on carefully, ice you can't. If an ice storm is forecast, stay home, don't try to drive. Bridges and overpasses become skating rinks, power lines come down from the weight of ice, trees snap, it's genuinely dangerous. We'll have much more detailed information on this Arctic blast in the coming days. I'll do a dedicated video on it, probably Sunday or Monday, once the models come into better agreement. But I wanted you to be aware now that this is coming. Let me talk briefly about model uncertainty. I'm using data from the National Weather Service, the Storm Prediction Center, and comparing 3 models, the NAM, the European model, and the GFS. Right now, they're in reasonable agreement about today's severe weather setup. They agree on the general snow pattern. Where they differ is the exact details of next week's Arctic blast. The GFS has been consistent in showing very cold air reaching the Gulf Coast. The European model is slightly less aggressive but still shows well below normal temperatures. The NAM only goes out a few days, so it's not helpful for next week yet. This is normal. Models don't always agree, especially beyond 5 days. That's why we compare multiple models. That's why forecasts can change. It's not that meteorologists are incompetent. It's that weather systems are complex and chaotic. Small changes in initial conditions can lead to big changes in outcomes. Anyone who tells you they know exactly what the weather will be 9 days from now is either overconfident or doesn't understand meteorology. We make our best forecast with the available data. We update as new information comes in. That's how science works. To summarize, today, stay weather aware in the Deep South. Tornado threat from 1 this afternoon until midnight. Peak activity 3 to 7 this evening. Heavy rain continues through Saturday morning. Flooding is possible. Snow tonight into Saturday across the Midwest, mainly affecting Kansas City, Chicago, Milwaukee, and Michigan. And next week, prepare for a significant Arctic blast. I'll have another update tomorrow morning. If conditions warrant, I'll go live today during the severe weather. Make sure you're subscribed and have notifications on. You've dealt with weather before, you know what to do. Just take it seriously, prepare appropriately, and don't take unnecessary risks. Stay safe,